Welcome back to the Book Reading Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Allie.
And I'm Sam.
This week we're jumping into chapter 15 and we are fighting off some Nagas until Tamlin comes to save us. And then we're going to go home, quote home, with our boy Tamlin. So let's get into it.
Yeah, short chapter. I think we have what, like five pages?
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Sorry, seven pages. Yeah, short chapter. We start with the Naga surrounding Feyre and the Suriel. Suriel is still in the snare, right? She's still he, she, it, they are still trapped. So my first thing that I underlined was the description of the Naga.
Serpentine?
Yeah. So dark scales.
Yeah.
Serpentine features and male humanoid bodies whose powerful arms ended in polished black flesh-shredding talons. Did this remind you of anything? The ridderak in Throne of Glass, the creature that they free. So the thing that they free that's in that in the rooms that have the word marks above them, that chases them into the portal where it tries to attack Fleetfoot, and Chaol goes and saves the puppy, and then that's when he also sees, like, when Aelin jumps in and she turns into her Fae form. It's that creature this is what reminds me of.
No, ridderak. Okay.
So the ridderak's description is male humanoid body, but with like beastly sort of features, dark gray skin, black blood because it's valg related. It has giant snapping jaws and extended long arms that end in claws. And
interesting.
It eats your flesh and then eats your brain.
That is so,
like, pokes holes in your brain to eat it out or some shit.
Yeah.
And they're valg created, and so they have black blood, and the blood in this chapter is never given a color, by the way.
I know. I was looking for it. I was like, what color is it?
So that's just what it made me think of, and then it kind of connects to a little baby theory that I have when we get there. But if this creature if the Naga is in fact that same creature or descended of or related to, could be there could be a little bit of a theory brewing in my noggin.
Okay. Yeah. I just actually I have been wondering about the Viper Queen for a long time, and so kind of any words that vaguely kind of, especially since they say the Dark Mother has sent us a gift, which I just assume this is like evil mother of the cauldron or something. I just didn't, or it's some other goddess, but I was like, some sick part of me was like, but I feel like it would be
Maeve.
Yeah, like, yes, I see that over like the Viper Queen, but I just couldn't help the association because it says serpentine, and it says serpentine twice. It says serpentine a second time too. So I was like, the only other like snake like description, I think and she's not even like described as being snake like, right? She's just called the Viper Queen. Yeah, but she is somebody. Like, I want to figure her out.
Not at all do I think this, but does Dorian's mom, is she alive at the end of the series?
I think that's one of those things that she forgot to like tie that together, or but I think she is.
And so she just,
I think the brother and her are just like,
oh right, he has a brother. Shit.
Oh, actually, people think that the brother, I saw some unhinged theory on TikTok about people thinking that the brother escaped to Prithian and he's actually, I forget who they say they thought he was, or to Crescent City. And I was like, that's unhinged. That's crazy.
I mean, I can see,
I can see him being somebody. I try to think of who.
I need to I just need to get the hard copies already and just start digging in.
Oh, you don't have them?
I don't. I have them on Kindle. I read them all on Kindle, and I just haven't gathered up the $120 fucking for the whole series. So, because I can't buy one.
Oh, I just bought them one at a time. I didn't even buy the set. I mean, I bought a collective set, but I didn't buy it in a box. That's crazy.
Although I'm totally fine with like getting them off Facebook Marketplace and getting them used. I'm like so a proponent of used books. Like,
same. Sometimes I'm like, I just want it like right now. I don't want to spend the time. Yeah. You're currently sitting on my copy of Throne of Glass, leaned up against my copy of Crescent City, the first one.
Oh, I am.
Yes.
Because also, did you notice that the Naga's eyes are amber?
Where? Almond shaped eyes.
Yeah.
Amber.
The Naga's Amber's eyes shifted towards me. And Emil. Yes, so the Dark Mother has sent us a gift today, brothers. They're not talking about Feyre.
They're talking about the Suriel.
They're talking about the Suriel.
I was like, what is the Suriel? What are they going to use it for?
She says, whatever. The Suriel says, release me, gonna cage me.
Yeah.
And like, if what? My theory that they're the creations of the valg and they're being sent by Maeve and the Suriel is in fact Kaltain.
Oh, okay.
Because didn't she die with the thing in her arm?
No, they took that because that was the word key, so they Dorian got it.
Yeah. I don't know. Just saying. Or maybe they're because like she completely fucked up a plan, right? Like maybe there's I don't mean she didn't fuck up Maeve's plan.
Well, because Maeve is, I guess it depends on when, because Maeve is dead, or
Maeve is in the void.
Oh, right. Maeve is in the void
with the Asteri,
and Kaltain is supposed to be dead, but it could easily be the Suriel. Yeah. I just thought, I actually was thinking, I mean, I know the theory about her it being Kaltain, but I also, it says the Suriel, there are more Suriels than this, then I'm like, I don't know, like, they're either like all made out of other people, and then I'd be like, you know, or like, they're either like creations like that, or they are all, they're like a species. But they seem like more like they'd be creations, huh? Because they're like...
Or they just think that there's more than one because the one that exists has been there since the beginning of the bones of the world or whatever the fuck.
That is interesting. If
and can winnow, right? Like, what if it can winnow?
Yeah, because Rhys says even or Lucian or someone says even the Suriel have numbers.
Yeah,
but that's the only time we ever hear about them.
Lucian hasn't been out of the spring court in 50 years. You don't know what he's talking about.
It might be Rhys that says it. I don't know, but
yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, every time she tries to trap a Suriel, it's the same one.
And isn't it the second time that she does it? It's like in a completely different... She's not in the spring court.
It's in the middle when she gets it the second time.
Yeah, but she's in a completely different area when she ensnares the Suriel again.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe they're just like, sure, there's more...
No, actually, the 3 locations are different locations. The middle...
Maybe it's like the opposite of Santa. Right? We all think there's one. There's probably lots of them.
Yeah. No, that is okay. Yeah, I mean, I do like that theory, but I was just okay. My brain was not thinking about Kaltain. I was just thinking, what are the Suriel? What is their actual power? They must be like, you know, what are they gonna milk the truth out of them? Why do the Naga want them? They clearly are knowledge bearers of some kind, but is that just because they're older than the bones of this world? They know a bunch of shit? Is that because they actually know stuff about, like, maybe their power is truth too? Maybe more is just a fucking Suriel.
She's gonna be like the girl from Game of Thrones who takes her necklace off and she's like 700 years old underneath. That's gonna be, I mean, she is that old, but like, she's gonna take off her red dress and she's just like super decrepit and has a fucking bones and skin underneath, and she's just like, my power is truth.
Dude, yeah.
Sounds like fucking the Sith Lord and shit.
Yeah.
Which you don't know my reference to because you don't watch Star Wars.
Well, I did a little chuckle, you know.
You fucking weirdo.
I get the vibes. Just the word Sith Lord sounds like, so.
He is. He absolutely is.
Yeah, so, and
I showed you what the Sith Lord looks like because he looks like one of the professors that we taught for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, this is Senator Palpatine. You can keep that in. That's fun. They know who they are.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of questions about the Suriel and what the Suriel is and how they would use it and do we know anything about the Suriel's power besides that it knows stuff?
No.
So either it has other uses or it has such knowing power that they want to use it, but what do they want to know stuff for? For the Dark Mother? A lot of people think the Dark Mother is just Amarantha, which I don't think so. That feels wrong.
She's never called a mother.
Yeah, although on the page right before this, she is called the Deceiver, and I think that's the only place she's ever called a Deceiver, and I thought that was weird because the Suriel is the one who calls her the Deceiver. I don't know. I've just I think we talked about this last time, but it's such a like Bible, like it just seems so like this is like a name for Satan, and I was like, it just was very striking to me because of that reason. And I was like, I don't think we ever hear her called that ever again.
Isn't Amarantha? That's also a flower? Yes.
I think an Amaranth or something. It's like a purple flower that in video games gives you defense. That's what I know about it. Gil's laughing at me.
It is a real flower.
Does it give you defense?
It is edible. It has well, it's edible.
Is it purple?
It is red.
Oh, red. Okay.
Well, red. I'm seeing different pictures here. I'm seeing a purple and a red.
Yeah, they're always purple in games.
Interesting.
What?
So they were a sacred plant for the Aztec culture, and because of that, the conquistadors tried to eradicate them. Now, again, this is a Google search, and that's,
I'd believe it.
I mean, I believe the conquistadors would do that. They're a bunch of fucking dicks, but... Yeah. Again, that's a quick Google search, and I'm not actually researching, so I don't want to go crazy. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's edible. It's a drought-resistant plant. It blooms. Yeah, and it's red. So, okay, maybe I'll do some actual research.
Yeah,
it's a gluten-free grain with and flour with a nutty herbal, slightly peppery taste.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know about being healing, but it's right? You can eat it. Make shit with it, and I don't know, in video games I suppose eating is helpful.
Maybe it's just like 2 video games where I'm thinking it's defense. It's definitely Breath of the Wild. That's the one. There's other games too that whatever.
Is that Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda. Breath of the Wild.
Look at me. But here's the thing, I give you shit about Star Wars, and then here I am being this person
and I'm like,
video games.
Actually,
I'm like,
it has defensive powers.
Whatever, I'm calling people Senator Palpatine. We're fucking nerds, man. Does Caleb watch or know of Star Wars? Is he a Star Wars fan?
Are you a Star Wars?
I'm more of a casual fan.
Casual.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I don't, so you don't have like a Wookiee suit somewhere.
No Wookiee suit?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore.
I'll have to get him one.
All right, keep going.
Okay. So do we talk? Okay, well, yeah, the talents. Obviously, here were the creatures of blood-filled legends. It's not really that interesting. But I was like, these are the real bad guys type beat, which is kind of interesting because, like, depending on who that Dark Mother is, right? The Dark Mother has sent them or sent her to them, and it's kind of like, if the Dark Mother is actually Maeve or is actually like a bigger bad than Amarantha, then it's almost like, oh, she's saying it right here. Here were the creatures from my nightmares. Here's who I should really be afraid of. And actually, like, in the long game of it, maybe it is who she should really be afraid of, because I don't know, that'd be kind of like an interesting thing, but I don't really think so, but like, I am interested.
It could also just be, right, like, religiously speaking.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
That, like, if you have a 3-faced goddess, right, perhaps one of those is the Dark Mother, right, or whatever, or like maybe because
totally.
Or if there is a mother goddess, right? Maybe it's because they're nefarious and they like to fucking rip and kill and whatever, that they still subscribe to some aspect of deity, right? It's a Naga deity.
Yeah.
It could be that, but let's be real.
Yeah.
Possibly more.
Yeah.
I think that we want or can only see at this point straight lines to certain characters, and I think it will probably end up being much more complicated. And it'll be like, I can't imagine it just be like Maeve walks through a portal at some point.
And it would be a little lame if it was just as simple as that. So I don't think it will be,
but I'm also wondering if, well, the queens are all mortal at this point, right? Because they stay.
We killed the old one, right? The one who went into the cauldron.
Yes, but she was still, at this point, she's still mortal, right?
Oh, like at this point, yeah. All the queens are mortal currently in this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. The queen that Nesta fights at the end of her bullshit trial thing, that's one of the queens, right?
Yes, it's one of the 6 queens. She was the one who went into the cauldron, and then it made her like immortal, but made her look old.
Got it. She's the crone.
Yes, Briolin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I had a lot of thoughts about, like, the way that they kind of move around, like, well, her arrow, the tip glittered like a shooting star. I was like, it's Night Court imagery. You're giving it away that she's supposed to be the Night Court, but I know it's kind of whatever. But I also noticed, like, this is middle of 132. The snare shattered like a shadow on the wind. The Suriel was off. A blast of dark that set the 4 Naga staggering back. I don't know. And I'm also like, okay, so the Suriel has dark powers, and I'm on my bullshit about Lorcan's power. He's Hellas's power, but it's just like kind of dark. It's just like a black power that just kind of shoots out and does, it feels like it's not super clearly defined. Plus his Rhys's power is kind of like that, and then we have this Suriel shooting out some kind of black wind, and I'm like, where's the connection? Maybe the void's the connection.
Maybe. Although I think that we could go on, not right now, but I think we could go on a whole moment of like looking at Lorcan and Hunt.
And Hunt? Wait, why Hunt?
Because Hunt is a prince of hell, and Lorcan gets his powers from hell.
From Hellas.
Okay.
So are the gods?
His powers are death.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Hellas is actually like where maybe he's the. Yeah, I actually hadn't thought yet about the gods in.
You mean Hela, like from the Norse mythology, who lives in the underworld and has lots of kings?
I don't know. I mean, probably. But it's Hellas. Is that how that other one is that you're talking about is spelled? Okay.
No. Hellas?
That's the Throne of Glass. That's Lorcan's dad.
Yeah, so Hela is without the S is the goddess. Okay.
Well, I mean, but actually, Hell could be named after Hellas, Yes. But then I'm like, who? So because the gods have a lot of power, I guess they're like some of the most powered beings.
Which gods?
The gods in Throne of Glass.
Oh, right, the ones that she talks to at the end.
No, like Deanna and like
okay.
There's a bunch of gods in that one. Yeah, I do wonder, like, are the gods, are they beating the Asteri? They're kind of, like, really overpowered in Throne of Glass. They seem like they're more powerful than, like, Maeve, but maybe they have some weird limits or something, or they're just bitches, and that's why they don't.
But she comes in contact with them, right? When she's doing her little fucking fall into the abyss, right? Doesn't she?
I don't know if they're the gods are locked somewhere, and so is Maeve, but I don't know if they're all locked in the same place. Because there's a bunch of those worlds, right?
Like, yes, but when her and Dorian go and do their little thingy, right? And she like pushes Dorian back out, and she talks to a bunch of gods.
Yeah, she's the one who like sets them in there.
Man, I gotta start reading again.
Gotta reread the books. Yeah, I mean, because Mala helps her like lock the gods in that other place, and they're like,
because she like sacrifices something or gives her something, right?
Yeah. But okay, so did you think of anything of the black wind, the shadow on the wind, the blast of dark? I was like, Suriel's powerful, but clearly still afraid of them, so not as powerful.
Yeah, I didn't. I underlined it now that you have said it. I remember reading it twice and being like, we'll come back to it. So I didn't think of anything off the top of my head with it, but it does sort of feel like it disappears a little bit. My image is in Harry Potter when like Voldemort like turns into nothing but then like goes through him.
Yeah.
Like kind of like that moment. This is a little like the what am I trying to say? The Sorcerer's Stone moment, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That like the shadow on the wind and it was off and a blast of darkness that's staggering them back. Like, yeah, he kind of Voldemorted himself away. But yeah, it kind of felt like a disappearing sort of thing as opposed to a running away.
Yeah, she still can't see it, like, because it says the one closest to me surged toward the Suriel. But maybe that's why she shot it. I think because it was going after the Suriel, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it says they still wanted to kill me anyway.
I did underline no chance of my movements being considered an unprovoked attack again. And I wrote like she's worried about being double trapped by the treaty. Like she's keeping in mind that like she has to be provoked.
Oh, that's what that's talking about.
Yeah,
that is so funny. Can you imagine if she died and Tamlin's like, somehow gets to talk to her after? He's like, why didn't you just shoot them first? And she's like, I had to be provoked.
Yeah,
he was like, bitch, I lied about that.
Like, fuck, man, I guess I do have to go to Highburn. God damn it, the red was right.
Okay, and then, I didn't realize how much running there is.
I did underline glittering like a shooting star through a gloom of the forest, right? More Night Court stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I immediately was like, yes.
I want to know what color their blood is, but
I know.
That's just me.
Oh, I just thought it was interesting. It says, I careened through a thicket and thorns ripped at my cheek. And I was like, Thorns, Tamlin, Spring Court, it's already chafing at you. It's already doing, I don't know, any kind of negative Spring Court imagery, like something like that. I was like, see? But I don't really.
It also has sort of prison-y capture vibes too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, I didn't even have time to wince, not as two dark figures flanked me, closing in, cutting me off. So again, always trapped.
Always so much trap. And then she says surrounded, like down lower.
So this down here where it says, do you know what you've cost us?
Yes. Okay, that's the line. Yes.
That was the line that I was like, oh, we're talking about the Suriel.
Yes, like what the fuck does that Suriel mean to them? I mean, if it's Kaltain and Maeve, then okay. But even then, I'm like, why do you care so much, Maeve?
Yeah, because Kaltain, I feel like it can't be Maeve because these, if they're the same creatures, right, were created by the king who was infested by the valg prince.
Kaltain never saw Maeve, right?
No.
Yeah.
And Maeve was against the prince because that was her husband or whatever, and so she was trying to hide from him too. So they were not allies.
Yeah. So I think the Suriel just has power that the Naga want.
Or somehow there's something that can still connect. Like I feel like I'm good with either, right? I'm good with it being something that is just there's this power, there's these creatures, like they get it, whatever they want. But I also think that there's enough of something there that could connect us to Throne of Glass world. I just don't know how.
Yeah, they definitely have Throne of Glass valg vibes, and I think that's why you're thinking that. That's like one more like take it or leave it. I don't know. I could definitely see a possibility, but I'm just more like I want to know what that Suriel's power is. Cause
well, and what if the Suriel is not Kaltain, right? What if the Suriel is somehow related to the witches?
Yeah.
Right? And then if the Naga are created, but like what if it's one of the witch people, right? Like I mean, I know that Manon is like the queen at this point, but there's other witch groups, right? She's the queen of her group, right?
Yeah. Well, and it depends on where in the timeline. Yeah,
because there's like the Blackbeak and then whatever else, right? All of those are different. She's not the queen of all of them, is she?
I don't know. Well, and also she wouldn't be if Throne of Glass is if that stuff hasn't happened yet. That's assuming it's all in the past, you know, or if it could be simultaneous. I don't know. But I wouldn't think that one of those witch queens would be called the Dark Mother, like, you know, Manon's grandma or something. Like, I would think it's somebody more consequential. Not that, I mean, they're consequential, but like, I don't know. It just seems wrong to have them be the Dark Mother. Now, if Dark Mother is Amarantha, then maybe Amarantha wants a Suriel.
Oh, that would make perfect sense.
Yeah, it just, you know, kind of the vibes feel. I mean, that's probably what we're supposed to think is that it is Amarantha. But then I'm like, what? Okay, so, yeah, then I just come back over and over again to what the fuck does the Suriel actually do? We just know it knows some shit. But, like, you could just be a being that's lived for forever, and so you just know shit, and you're not, like, that's not your power.
But the Suriel has kind of prophetic aspects, because it says to stay with the High Lord and see things be righted. That's future.
That must be part of the power, then.
Yeah, there's a prophetic aspect to it. To the Suriel.
So what is Amarant like? Is she just trying to make sure she's good to go? Is she like, does she have doubt, and that's why she wants to know, like, this, you know? Well, and also, okay, actually, it says the Dark Mother sent us a gift. That implies actually more of like a god, right? Because like God sent us, you know.
Yeah.
Huh. But even then, I'm like, okay, is the Naga's diet not a Suriel? no, actually, I guess it's Feyre. But
yeah, because they don't want to eat the Suriel; they want to capture it.
Yeah, they specifically want to capture it, which I never even thought about before before this reread, actually. I did also with our talk of House. It's funny that she said go to hell.
Well, and I don't know if we're ever gonna find out because the Suriel is dead.
Well, but there could be other Suriel.
There could
potentially.
There could be.
And I think there could be other Suriel even if Kaltain is that Suriel, because they, like, again, it could just be like when somebody gives up their soul in this kind of way, a Suriel is formed and they get access to the knowledge of the universe and fate and blah blah blah. Like, that's kind of interesting, and I feel like that would come back.
It could be, right? And if, I mean, again, this is not in the books at all. I'm theorizing.
No, I mean, like in book 6 or 7.
When you're saying like can give themselves up, right? There's witches who are being used as incubators.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the you know, how they The 13.
No. Wow. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Okay. If these end up being, if there's 13 Suriels and they're the third, like, no. Do not break my.
I've seen theories about the 13 being in ACOTAR. Oh, because Briar is in is a W's name, which never happens. And there's a Briar.
Thea is a W's name.
Huh?
Thea is a W's name.
Where?
She's one of the 13.
But maybe it's the same one. Just kidding. Okay. Well, maybe it's just very selectively W's then. Mm-hmm. I thought Rune was in charge of the mountains. Just kidding. Stupid joke.
I don't know. I mean, that would be fucked up.
There's 13 Suriel.
I feel like that would also kind of, I think it could be too fucked up for the sacrifice that the 13 made.
Yeah, yes. I don't really want them to be
but
I think it could be cool if it's done really well, but it could be so easily fucked up. And also, part of the reason it's so good is because it's so heartbreaking.
Yes.
You know? And
which, let me tell you, by the time we got there and that happened, and I was literally crying during this chapter, I remember finishing the chapter and being like, how the fuck did she make me love these people? Because I remember for so many chapters being like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about the witches. I don't care about their drama. I don't care about Manon. I don't care about any of these fucking humans. It's such a waste of my time. Let me get back to my people. And then I'm hooked.
Yeah.
And then it happens and I was like, this is bullshit. But I mean, it's a testament to her writing that I was like, you know, that she can make people love people, I guess. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, it would be kind of interesting if they were the witches who are being used as incubators for these other creatures, because then the creatures that are being born are those things, are the Naga, are the ridderaks, or the Ilkin or something, right? They're all related to, like, they're valg created.
Yeah.
And so that can, you know.
Yeah, maybe when summer starts, I'm gonna do a full fucking reread. And then I'll come back, episode 16, and I'll be like, I know everything now.
Preach.
I have a dictionary.
Yeah, right? We're like, we're enough recording ahead that we can take a minute. Also, did you notice Lydia?
Okay, I'm joking.
I was like, no?
But it's on the top of 134. She says, he dodged it, chuckling, we'll have our sport, though you might not find it amusing. I gritted my teeth as I swung again. I would not be hunted down like deer among wolves. Which is just a regular metaphor. But Lydia was hunted down, and she was a deer hunted by wolves. She was. This is on my mind as I was just fresh off my Crescent City read.
In fact, a Galthinius, or a descendant of a Galthinius, because of all the things.
And I was just like, if nothing else,
she's Tammy's cousin.
Yep.
Who also was doing some hanky-panky on Calamni, because that's how she got knocked up with her son.
That's right, yeah. But anyway, I mean, it's not really Lydia, but that was still such a symbolic, like, scene in Crescent City, actually, because she's, like, a literal deer being hunted by literal wolves. It's very interesting, especially for, like, you know, this, we keep just seeing this nonstop wolf imagery throughout all the books, but especially ACOTAR and Thorns.
We also keep seeing the deer imagery, too, right? I mean, like, Lydia is, she's absolutely a descendant of Aelin, like, no questions asked. She has firepower. She's a stag.
And Brandon is her aunt. Yeah. Well, I just think it's not just that, like, there's Lydia, but also, like, the whole thing. ACOTAR starts with hunting a deer. Like, it's just, I mean, the reason I think the wolves are big is because Crescent City starts with, there was a wolf at the gallery door, and I was like, you don't start shit without, on accident, like, but anyway, that's what I wrote in my margin. Lydia!
Nice.
I'm, like, trolling myself.
This made me think of the creatures again, where it says, when we're done ripping off your skin, you'll wish you hadn't crossed into Prithian. And they breathed in my face. They reeked of carrion shoving down into my throat. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like the thingies.
The ridderak?
Yeah, because it rips the skin off of the faces and eats the brains and stuff, so whatever.
Oh!
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, are we seeing a little star power? Just kidding, I'm just kidding. But I did think it's interesting.
Oh, the white hot flame went through her?
Yeah.
I circled wild instinct.
Yeah, well, I think that, but I'm just like, why? Oh, I mean, I get it. Why? But is white even, blue is the hottest flame, right?
Yes.
Is white? I think Anyway, a white hot flame went through me.
I think white hot is I think that's a common enough saying.
I think so too, but when I reread this book, I was fresh off of Crescent City, so I was like, this is Starborn power. But
why is this making her mad?
Yeah, well, I think maybe it's just meant to be an adrenaline surge, and so she just like all of a sudden like is like her brain kicks on and is like, fuck this.
Yeah, and I mean it says rage or terror or wild instinct.
Yeah.
But it's just the first response is that it's anger. I feel like the first response would be fear, right? But it's like something's like, oh, I'm gonna tear your face off and cut you into little bits, and she's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to being like, oh my god, okay, gotta protect myself. Like, she's mad about this. She's angry.
It's very Nesta vibes to be pissed about it.
Yeah. Or just the fact that that's what they do to humans, and that makes her mad that like that these are the creatures that exist here, and the level of power that they have over what they could do to humans, and
yeah,
you know, that kind of stuff.
And I just think like rage is maybe the easiest emotion to grab, probably, but I don't know. I still thought like I mean, I'm always on my Feyre's something train, so I was like, where's this instinct coming from? Maybe it's just nothing. At some point, we just gotta let Sarah write, but I'm not gonna let her write anytime soon. I'm gonna be like, maybe this is something.
I do love that when it says blood rained down on my face, I just wrote next to it, what color?
I know.
What was the blood?
Yeah. Yeah, again, my fury, my terror is such an interesting, like, double-sided coin, which is just kind of how, like, yeah, that probably feels. But okay, I wonder if you can see that. Oh, you probably can't, actually.
No, I see, but I don't.
It says the not like this, not like this. I was like, is that Rhys's voice? I don't know. She's over the wall.
Yeah,
it's disembodied, and I have questions about these moments where she has this italicized,
especially because the next italicized is High Lord, High Lord, High Lord.
I'm just saying, I know it's unhinged, okay, but like, isn't it fun? But like, you know,
it's so much fun.
He's in supreme danger. Maybe Rhys is like, bitch, you're not dying. I haven't met you yet. Maybe this is what makes him want to go find her, because he's like, she's gonna die. I'm gonna like die. You know, like maybe this Calamine's only in a couple chapters. Ooh, I love that though, and it's the 3 repeating. Yeah.
And the very next time that we get that, it's High Lord, High Lord, High Lord. And then the next one after that, okay, other than the definitely not, is Stay with the High Lord. This is fun.
Right? Yeah, no, but the 3, yeah. And that's really like what guides her for the rest of this book, is to stay with the High Lord business. And then we have Tamlin. You'll bleed, we'll bleed you nice and slow, and then Tamlin comes in.
Which again is just the scene from Beauty and the Beast.
I still haven't done my homework.
We're gonna be like halfway through Crescent City and be like, I watched it.
I watched Beauty and the Beast. No, we'll do it.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe after we finish this book, we will do a watch, and then we'll do an episode of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Although it'd be like 30 weeks from now, we'll be like, I don't remember what we were talking about for this episode.
It's really fine. That's why we record it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't have anything on 135 except for like, I mean, is the noise from Tamlin, I think it's just, you know, it's just the drama, I guess.
She's scared, right? Like, he's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know, there's something, it was just interesting how she was just so focused on how loud he was, but yeah, I think she's just like in awe of him, and that's why also the High Lord.
Also, he's in his High Lord form, except for his claws, and then he roars, so it's just like normal man face, just like, That's a little intense. I'd be pretty overwhelmed.
I did think it was interesting that when he sees her, he says Feyre, and the wrath faded from his eyes, and the claws slipped back under his skin. I don't know, it seemed kind of like nice, and I guess we were supposed to like him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh look, he's being nice. Okay.
I want to try to figure out when we think he cares for her. Legit.
Does he?
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I don't think that he's like, it's still questionable. Like, is he falling for her now? No, he's trying to save his own fucking skin.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like, I'm gonna write questions. I'm just gonna have a little billboard over here that has all the questions of like, when did Feyre find out he's High Lord? Cool, answered. Suriel. Next one. When can we actually see that Tamlin gives a fuck about her?
Yeah.
And not by words, by actual actions.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we do.
If anything, after like just seems like he's just like she feels like a trophy to him after like, hey, you came from the end of the mountain and everybody saw, and wouldn't it be embarrassing if we broke up? Like, like it's almost like
or
just she's like a toy that he's like
the status symbol.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's could also just mean maybe he's just like thinks like he's like more sexist, or maybe a normal amount of sexist for this world, and Rhys is, maybe like that's just like how a lot of men in this world think and stuff.
Do you think that he's threatened by Rhys while he's under the mountain? So when they make it out, that's why he's even more protective of her, because once she made this bargain that she has to go hang out with him once a week, once a month, whatever. But like, he's watching her like fucking give him lap dances every night under the fucking mountain, right? And like
that broke his brain.
And like catches them kissing, right?
Yeah.
For a number of reasons, whatever, fine. But like, do you think he's already like, no, that's my thing? And then because they bring her back, maybe he knows that there's going to be power within her and he wants to keep that?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, Rhys does say, like, he still loves you. And Feyre's like, yeah, it sucks. So, like, he's in his head.
I think he loves the idea of her. I think he's just like, that's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, he never gives me the vibe that he loves her. He gives me the vibe that he's indebted to her. Maybe that's what he thinks love is.
Yeah, I mean, and he could just be one of those people that, like, that's what love looks like to him, right? That he doesn't know how to do the thing. Mostly, what I think most of it is that Tamlin is selfish.
Yeah, he's just so ego.
Yeah, and I think that that's what would inevitably hold him back from being a good partner anyways, is just because he's selfish.
And also, really, he just lets his emotions, like, I think he's just like he can't deal with his own emotions, like, that's why he blows up, that's why he's abusive, that's why he doesn't want to let her out of sight. And it's also why, like, I think he lets her sleep through her barfing, because he's like, I don't want to deal with the difficulty of helping her live with this. Like, it's just like, he doesn't know how to handle his own emotions, so then he's a dick all the time. And actually, on bottom of 135, I just thought it was interesting that she says, he reached a hand toward me and I shuddered as he ran a cool wet fingers down my stinging, aching cheek. I mean, I guess maybe it's just the awe of power, or like it's blood and stuff, but I'm like,
she says
you are always recoiling from his touch.
Always.
Just over and over again. So this is one of them.
Also, did you notice that he can heal?
Oh, that's what he does, right? He heals her, and then like,
Yeah, the next page, right? The pain in my face and my arms faded, then vanished. His eyes darkened a bit at the bruise I knew was already blooming on my cheekbone, but the throbbing quickly lessened. The metallic scent of magic wrapped around me, then floated away on a light breeze. I don't remember if Adian can do it, but his dad can.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like that?
Yeah, it's like they come over and there's some fucking light or some shit, and they can heal.
I know they can heal. I thought a lot of people can heal. Like, I thought Rowan can heal.
In Throne of Glass, yeah. No, there are a lot of the Fae can.
But like, then the healers are like specific, but like a lot of people can do basic healing kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and Lucian can.
Right.
And Rhys.
That's because Rhys is daddy. He's the most powerful High Lord. He can make a little fever go away.
Or bring her back from the brink of death, because a fever is just a little, he's got antibiotic powers.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I never thought about like the fact that they can heal, but then that would make Tamlin's less connected to like actual, like, well, goes back to like, what the fuck is High Lord power? How does that shit work? And how is it connected to other kinds of power in this series? Oh, I also do think it's interesting that she's like, we're already getting those hints of, oh, you left, you shouldn't leave. If I'm not here, you better stay back. And it's like, okay, that's the first instance. Sounds reasonable because it's after you just got fucking attacked and almost died. And but then he's just gonna, that's his inch, and now he's just gonna keep taking. until he trapped her in the house.
Very like it's magical stuff, but it's all very. I've said this a million times, right? But like
it's like Narcissist.
It's
101.
such exactly what an abusive, controlling relationship looks like, right? You separate them from their family, right? Yeah, you love bomb the shit out of them,
yeah,
right? And then you do something that ties them to you, indebted, saves them, does something that makes you, right? And then you make them fearful of the world. Don't go out there. No one's gonna love you the way I love you, right? You're not safe. If I'm far away, don't go, right? Don't go hang out with your friends. They're crazy, right? You're gonna get hurt if you go out with your girlfriends, right? All the fucking shit, right?
Yeah.
This is all just that, just with fairies. Like this is not superhuman shit right here. He's just a shitty boyfriend.
Yep.
Like he's a narcissist.
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah, classic abuser.
Yeah,
But I think it is meaningful that she falls for him and that the readers fall for him because she's 19.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like, that's actually the best case. People are like, problematic age gap. And I'm like, okay, it's a fantasy world. But they're not, still, I mean, she's 19, but also.
So statistics show that the age that women are most likely to end up in an abusive relationship is 19 to 24.
Yeah.
She's doing exactly what every girl with mommy or daddy issues finds themselves in.
She got them both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think actually it's a weirdly good case for her having to be younger, because she has to do this dumb bullshit that a more realized woman would do. And also I think like you got 400 years in the mix. There's no amount of is it an age gap?
Yeah.
There's definitely an age gap, but that's why I like the
Tamlin has the maturity of a fucking 20-year-old. So yeah.
He acts like a frat bro.
He sure the fuck does.
Yeah, his frat bro phrase actually, most people's last from like 20 to 23. His last for like 400 years. It's
I just imagine him in like really like deep cut tank tops and his mask. Like neon green deep cut tank tops with his bandolier and his mask.
He would love that. He'd be like,
Wait till he meets Hunt and like Hunt has the backwards hat. Tamlin's gonna be like, I'm on that shit.
Oh my god.
Be like, bring me one. I'm here for it. That shit's hot.
You just launched me into like I was like, man, Hunt could set him straight. Because Tamlin is so manosphere and he's like red pilled and like Hunt would be his like inspiration and he would like he just like went off into like another world like I was like Hunt's like the good masculine like bro type beat and he could fix Tamlin. He could fix him. No, I shouldn't.
There's no fixing Tamlin.
There's no, and we don't want a redemption arc and we talked about that. So, yeah.
I want to know why she should have known, why she should have guessed.
Where?
Middle of 136, when Tamlin takes his shirt off for her, and she says, "Hi, Lord, I should have known, I should have guessed." Why? How could you have guessed that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, because he has power? Everything over the wall has power.
And they especially, they thought way more, they thought that the Fae were doing way more shit than, so they probably assumed they all could, like, kill them instantly.
Yeah. But I think that speaks to, like, her, like, all the instinct talk and the bones and, like, her being something more than just human, where she's like, I should have known. Why? Your mother didn't tell you shit about the Fae. Why did you know?
Well, it's maybe one of those things. Okay, this is gonna sound like really hippie, like when you ever hear like you read something and there's like a metaphor that you've never heard before, but when you read it, you go, it feels like that's the perfect way to describe that, and you suddenly feel like you've heard that all your life, type of thing. Or I feel like it's like, or like, okay, I could, in like, if I was writing a book, like this is how I'd fictionalize it. Someone has a dream, they forget about the dream, they learn something in the dream, they forget about it, then they hear it in the real world, then they know the answer, and they don't know how they know the answer, but it's because it like it feels like a deep, weird
collective
thing.
Unconscious.
Yes, yeah, it feels like the unconscious, like, only after you know the fact do you realize that you should have, that you already knew it, type of thing.
And it could be an energy thing, right? It keeps saying, like, the High Lords don't have power, they are power. So, like, maybe she's like, maybe I should have picked up on that. Like, you know, like, because she said for 60 some odd pages, right? He has power. He's so powerful. Oh my god, he can go and kill the things. And he's so, like, what kind of power does he possess? Like, she has been asking these questions. So, maybe. Where she's like, wow, I should have come to that by realizing he's got a shit ton of power. Yeah. And that he doesn't have power. He is power.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Which is still such a cryptic sentence.
Yeah. Right? Yes.
Right. I don't have femininity. I am feminine. Like,
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Weird.
I do think home is another big theme, obviously, in these books. Mm-hmm. Let's go home, and this really reminds me of like the end of the book, because that's what she says that to him, right? Yeah. She says, "Let's go home."
Yeah, I underlined before this that the High Lord of the Spring Court thought I was worth saving. Yeah, it's just like it's the love bombing. It's the stage where he gets her on his side, kind of a thing.
Also, I feel like she always had kind of like weird like power things. Like she's always like, his predatory gaze was so hot, and I'm like, ew, it's weird a little bit. And this kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Well, she has a worth complex, right? Because Nesta keeps telling her that she's worthless. Yeah. And like now, maybe she's being a little bit smug, right? Where she's just like, and Nesta thought I would be insignificant and forgotten. Like the High Lord of the Spring Court thought I was worth saving. She's having a Valley Girl moment. Look at me now, Nesta. I got a High Lord to fight for me. A couple of them. But yeah.
That's one of those lines I just kind of got. It gave me a little tiny bit of an ick. Like, I was just like, I kind of just rolled my eyes a little bit. And I was like, but, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I did underline "let's go home," but I do like that she's like, it's not my home, but okay. Mm-hmm. But she's already pushing that away, right? Like,
oh yeah, and she does it several times.
She runs to the Night Court, right? Like on kind of even when Rhys comes and gets her at the wedding, like she's relieved to be in the Night Court. Right, she's relieved to be there. She feels like everything that she talks about, she's like, it's gorgeous, it's open, it's airy, I'm not suffocating. Like everything about it is just like a breath of fresh air. And even in these moments, anytime he talks about home, right, or the night or the Spring Court, it's always suffocating. She's recoiling from it, it's trapping her. And even when he's like, I've saved your life, I've killed for you, let's go home, she's like, I don't really know how to tell him it's not
just
my
somewhere home.
Yeah.
Yeah. She does say that to Rhys in like a moment of anger. She's like, that's not me home. And he's like, okay.
For the Night Court or?
Yeah. In Mist and Fury. It always makes me sad. Because she's clearly just kind of pissed. And actually she goes, yeah, actually it's my home. It's like very late. It's like really late. I was gonna say that the vibe feels very like the end of Act 1 type thing, like with the I still didn't have enough specifics. I had a feeling I would surely be a fool to ignore his advice. My family would have to make do. Then hopefully it would be enough. I didn't ask Tamlin anything more about the Naga. Like it feels like the next page is like end of part 1. It doesn't, but that's what it feels like. Felt like a turning point.
So the paragraph before where it says stay with the High Lord, fine, easy enough. But as for the history lesson, it had been right? So the Suriel's in it now. It had been in the middle of giving me, and then I underlined, about wicked kings and their commanders and however they tied into the High Lord at my side and the Blight. So like she's already putting together like, how does Tamlin play into this?
Yeah.
Because the Suriel said, right, like that they went in and
as spies and courtiers and lovers, they infiltrated the various high fae courts and kingdoms and empires around the world for 50 years.
Yes. And so like, right, like how does she tie, like how does their commanders tie into Tamlin and the Blight? Yeah. So like already knowing like Tamlin must know something. There must be some sort of connect, like there's some, you know, like there's something brewing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe as High Lord he knows this shit and I guess he's described to her as the Blight.
What is when, and we don't know that the Deceiver is a female, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. As spies and courtiers and lovers, they infiltrated the various high fae courts and kingdoms and empires around the world for 50 years, and when they had gathered enough information, he made his plan. But nearly 5 decades ago, one of his commanders betrayed him, the Deceiver. Not gendered.
Which is still, like, that is what Amarantha did, but maybe there is multiple. Because the Suriel is misleading almost on purpose.
I mean, I think the Deceiver is Amarantha. I'm fine with that. But I don't think that Feyre is putting together lover, the Deceiver's female. How does that commander tie in with the High Lord? Well, it ties in as a lover.
Yeah.
I do think that we're supposed to have some sympathy or, I don't know, a softening or something for Tamlin at the end of this chapter.
And right? It's been happening along the way.
Yeah, because I didn't detect a trace of triumph in him, but rather a deep, unending sort of shame and defeat.
But, that's kind of very, like, he's a sad boy.
Well, and maybe I don't remember enough of Amarantha's story. I feel like we don't get the full story, but, like...
Alice tells it, and then I think we maybe learn more from Rhys later.
Yeah, but I really want to lean into that, because I feel like I don't have... all the pieces don't come together for me as to what the role was, what the relationship between Amarantha and Tamlin was before all this, all the things. Why? Yeah. How was she the deceiver exactly? Like,
well, she's Hybern's deceiver, I think, mainly because she stole his books and was like, I'm gonna go just come back and then we can conquer them together, but instead she stole it. But I still think deceiver means more.
But what books did she steal? Because they didn't
the spell book. He has like a spell book, and they talk about this in ACOTAR when they're in Mist and Fury, I think, because they're stealing the book of breathings, and they talk about how Amarantha had stole Hybern's book of spells, and that's how he had put the cauldron together. Maybe, I don't know, something like that.
Interesting.
By the way, as we were kind of talking, I flipped to the part where Alice is talking. She does call her the deceiver.
Yeah.
I thought it was the only place because I really didn't remember. I feel like I would remember somebody being called the deceiver. It's so like something I would pay attention to, but no, she calls her that. So, because we were what were we originally trying to figure out what Tamlin's deal with it was?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I want a little bit more with the Amarantha backstory.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll figure it out in like the 4th Crescent City.
Well, it's just I'm looking on 281. It just says Tamlin and Amarantha knew each other before. His family had long been tied to Hybern. Springcourt allied with Hybern to keep the humans enslaved. His father was fickle and was very close to the Hybern and Amarantha. And Tamlin met Amarantha as he was a child, accompanying him on trips to Hybern. Grew to desire Tamlin, to lust for him and with her entire wicked heart. But he heard stories from others and knew what Amarantha and his father and the Hybern king had done to fairies and humans alike. He was wary of her when she came here. Yeah. Oh, Lucien's actually way more central. Her attempts to lure him into her bed, right up until she stole his powers. Lucien was sent to her as Tamlin's emissary to try to treat for peace. She refused. She did the thing with his eye. And then after that, she hosted a masquerade. All the courts were present. She was trying to make amends for what she had done to Lucien. So that's why they're all wearing masks. Yeah. He said in front of everyone that he would sooner take a human to his bed, sooner marry a human than ever touch her. She might have let it go had he not then said that her own sister had preferred a human's company to hers, that her own sister had chosen Durian over her. So it's really that he just was too sassy. He should have shut the fuck up. Kidding.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In a world where mates are a thing.
Yes. You have to wonder.
Like, this is more than a woman scorned.
Okay, what if, actually, because she is like, she's like this witch character. Like, what if she's like trying to force a mate bond? And like, so she's like done some fucking crazy magic to like do it, and Tamlin's like, what? I don't know.
No, I think he just doesn't,
or she's his actual mate?
I think she's his actual mate. And I think, because never once does Feyre ask Tamlin, do you think that I'm your mate? She's just like, and maybe it'll snap, maybe it won't, I don't know, right? They don't talk about it, ever. He never brings it up, because he knows he already has a fucking mate. And let's think, like, it says that people can turn the mate bond away, right? They can say no thank you. And Rhys says it seems to be easier for the females than it is for the males, right? When the mate bond clicks, it's pretty intense for the males. But that's not to say that it's not intense for the females. And if the only reason why Tamlin is not, like, doesn't reciprocate the mate bond is because he knows who she is, like, in her heart, where he's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Like, I get that we're mated, but like, you have a darkness in you that I can't, like, you have a political, you're the fucking Republican and I can't get on board or whatever. Or you've already done all these horrific things and I can't forgive you for that. Yeah. Because that's a real thing. And like, even Rhys says that like his parents were mates, but they weren't great for each other.
Yeah.
That the mate wasn't always right. Yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Here's one wrench. Can you kill your mate? Because he kills her. He rips out her throat. Maybe because it's not a killing blow. I guess it is a killing blow. I don't know. I feel like you can't. Can you kill your mate?
Well, I mean, according to Aelin, no, right? That's why Rowan stands in front of her when she gets all crazy, because he's like, I know that you weren't going to hurt me because I'm your mate.
But I think that's just because it kicks up your instincts and you sober up.
But that could be why he's so fucked up in the second book, that it's not actually about Feyre. And then the reason why he's holding on to her so closely is because he wants her to fix his heart.
Yeah, because he's like, I killed my mate for you. This can't.
Well, and I mean, even if it's not that, but like that he wants to love her with the same veracity that his body is mourning the loss of his mate and feeling like shit because he's the one who killed her, even though he knows it was the right choice.
That is interesting.
Because instinct says that's not okay, and that the mate bond is severed, and so he's hoping that the closer he keeps Feyre, the faster he will heal.
Yeah, well, actually, when you're saying that, I was like thinking about like all those people who think that Rhys is evil, and I was like, okay, if Rhys is actually evil, which would be so fucked, Feyre's got to be the one to kill him, and she's gonna die in the process.
Well, yeah, because they have their life bond is.
Oh no, but I think she's like, just story wise, she gotta die, and they could die together. But I don't think he's evil, and I think that's an insane theory, and people are insane.
Yeah, people are nuts.
And also just because like it's just not vibes. Okay, I always say ACOTAR is popular because she's made like sitcom vibes in a cool fantasy world.
Yeah,
you don't do that in a sitcom. Okay,
I do also think that if Rhys is valg Asteri related, I think that he would be the proof that they're not intrinsically evil, that they are choices.
Yeah. That I do subscribe to.
Yeah, he would be the archetype for that. That's like, yes, absolutely. I am made of these monsters, but I am not a monster.
I think that's his real, I think is his actual storyline.
And I think that is, yeah, I mean, that's what she's trying to prove. Right? Like, Nesta, who is not, right, she's, for what we've been told, right, human, and then she's made, but she's a fucking monster sometimes, right? So, like, she's not, like, the stuff within her is not monstrous. She's just she's a bitch, right? Granted, I know, we love her, all the things, right?
Yeah.
And so it would be the complete antithesis of that, where it's like someone who has she's made by the cauldron, right? She has all the things of goodness that could be in her, and she's still an asshole, right? Because trauma, fine, whatever. Whereas Rhys has the makings of evil in him, and he chooses against it.
Yeah.
That it's not about, right? The valg are not intrinsically evil, and the Asteri are not intrinsically evil. It's what happens when power goes uncontrolled.
Yeah.
And that, yes, Rhys is the most powerful High Lord ever, and like all the things, but he also kind of has a checks and balance system, right?
Yeah, and I think
he has a steward under the mountain, right? In the Court of Nightmares, right? He has his inner circle and they tell him on a number of times, they call him on his shit on a number of times, and so does Feyre.
Yeah.
Like, he's open to have someone be like the checks and balances for him. And so I think that that's the difference, is that he doesn't crave power. He knows he has it, and he uses it to the best of his ability. Whatever. But I think that he puts life above his own.
Yeah.
Whereas the Asteri and the valg, and to some extent Tamlin, does not.
Yeah, it is. I do think that is his true arc will event, like when these books are done. That will have been his arc, is like sort of disproving his heritage. Because there's no way that bitch ain't something.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think it could be really well done. But I don't think he's evil. But
neither do I. No, that would, no.
Oh, yeah, dude. Wow.
I wonder if Elaine is going to be the one to betray them.
Well, we may have already solved it if our Lucian theory is correct, but maybe there's double betrayal. Maybe that's not really enough of betrayal. I feel like not. I feel like she wouldn't, but maybe.
I could see Elaine betraying them.
Dude, why the fuck don't we know about Dark 6 yet? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Well, that's not true. I mean, the last Crescent City came out, January of last year? January 2024?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that the next ACOTAR's got to be thick. But she did post a long time ago that she was going up to the mountains to write, so who knows? Next week, chapter 16.